Well, this commercial from the Super Bowl has gotten quite a bit of attention. And being a Christian myself, and look, I am not a great Christian. None of us are. We all fall and fail at times. And I wish and I try to be as good as I can, but we're all not perfect. But this commercial here really aggravated me. Right when I first saw it, I was sitting there watching the horrendous Super Bowl that this Super Bowl was, and this commercial came on, and I couldn't believe my eyes at what I was watching. The fact that they would put this on TV and that there were Christians that would actually sign off on this and say, yeah, this is okay. So let's give this a watch here. And it's of people washing other people's feet. And you see the policeman washing, I guess, a black man's feet, a child washing a addict's feet, black, white, I don't know. Some of them, this one here is kind of bizarre. This one is what really, this is what caught my attention immediately. This one right here. This is the one where you see a preacher, a pastor, a man of the cloth washing the feet of a member of the LGBTQ. But it continues on, and it says, Jesus didn't teach hate. He washed feet. And I'm sure if you're anybody who's anybody, you've probably seen on social media, countless people, countless Christians have come out and said, no, Jesus did not just wash anybody's feet. He washed the feet of his disciples. And he did it at a certain point in time. He did it during or right before the Last Supper. There was a reason that they washed their feet back in those times. They wore sandals in the dirt, and they would wash their feet walking into their homes prior to dinner. And sometimes they would have slaves who would be the ones who would wash their feet prior to doing this. And the fact that Jesus, the man these disciples would follow around and gave their lives to, knelt down and washed their feet was a very big moment for them. But here's the big thing with this that people don't understand, because when I saw this really truly affected me being a Christian in a very, very specific way. This is a wolf in sheep's clothing type of moment here. This is terrible, because this is not giving a full picture. The moment where it says that, let's see, it's not going to let me do this, is it? Where it says Jesus did not teach hate. That is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. If we take a look at John 13:34, he says, "A new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another." And that is a very important thing. And there's a lot of misconceptions about Christianity and how Christians are to be in this world. But it's very important to understand that we are to love one another. I don't hate anybody who's part of the LGBTQ crowd. I don't hate anybody who goes and gets an abortion. I don't hate anybody who is an addict. That's not my place. My place isn't to hate anybody. My place isn't there to hate anybody. That's not what Jesus had instructed us to do. That's not how we're to be. Okay? But that doesn't mean we're supposed to just allow them to live a life of sin. That doesn't mean that we're supposed to sit back and allow them to live in a blasphemous life and go to hell and not have the possibility of joining us in heaven with God. You see, and that's the big difference here. Because telling the truth isn't being hateful. Telling the truth of the Bible is not spewing hate, is not telling them that negative facts. It's not being mean. It's telling the truth of the Bible. It's telling the truth of God's word. And that's a big difference there that so many people don't understand. People will try and twist that idea, that specific message, and try and say that's hate, but it's not. It's not. Matthew 18:15 is really interesting because it says, if your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault, just between the two of you. If they listen to you, you have won them over. So that is a very, very interesting thing. All right. So if you go and tell your brother or sister that they're living in sin. So this little video here that they're showing. All right. So this one's okay. This picture here of a police officer washing a black man's feet, they're trying to say that police are racist. I think it's ridiculous. I think that is a completely different story that we have to talk about another day. This one, a child with a mother who has an alcohol problem. Again, a completely different story for another time. This one here, I don't know. Is this an abortion clinic? Is this... I'm not really sure what this one is. Is this political? I don't know what that one is. I know that there is supposedly an abortion clinic one here. Maybe this is the abortion clinic. I don't know. Or is this the... No, this is the refugee or illegal immigrant ones. You see, this is where things are weird because some of these are hard to tell exactly what they're trying to get across. Because when you start talking about the instances where you want to explain to those who are not Christians why we're pro-life or why we don't appreciate or don't stand for the LGBTQ crowd and their agenda and what they're pushing. When you start to talk about that, that's when things get all muddled and twisted and saying that it's hate. And it's not. And then it goes to the one, like I said, that really caught me. Like, I could not believe that this was on screen. I think they did that on purpose. They specifically put a preacher in this moment here. Absolutely. And this is how I know that whoever put this commercial together, whoever did this, 100% is not a true Christian. I'm sorry. They're just not. Because, look, Jesus did not wash the feet of anybody. He washed the feet of his disciples. He washed the feet of those who gave their life to Jesus, who would follow him. That is what he did. He did that for a specific reason. Okay? I'm not saying that we need to go out and wash feet. We're not saying that we shouldn't go out and wash people's feet. But, yes, you love your neighbor as you would love yourself, as you would love your child, as you would love anybody. You should love your neighbor. Absolutely. You don't want to spew hate. That's bad. That's terrible. But this pastor, what he should be doing here, this preacher, this man of the cloth, should be having a conversation with this man right here and explaining to him that he is living a sinful life, that if he continues to live this life of sin, that he will not make it in the afterlife to heaven, that he will be in hell. And that is the message that needs to be stated across this. It's just maddening to me how this commercial was just put out there without any context. And I've seen so many people who are anti-Christian, who are anti-God, anti-religion, very pro-LGBT, pro-abortion, or what is it? You know what I mean? Pro-choice. They have come out and said, this commercial was amazing. It was beautiful. It made me tear up. but it didn't do what it was supposed to do. Because it's showing the wrong message. It's giving the wrong message. It's giving the wrong message. And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because we need to not pander and make people feel accepted. We need people to accept God. God does not need to accept you. God does not need to accept who you are. You need to accept God. You need to accept God's word. And that is what this completely misses. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Leave a comment below. With all that said, I will catch you all later.